In 2026, global shipping is facing a convergence of crises it has never seen before. The Strait of Hormuz, effectively blockaded by conflict, with insurers refusing to cover any vessel attempting passage. The Red Sea, so dangerous that major Western carriers have abandoned it entirely. The Suez Canal, accessible on paper, but the war zones surrounding it have made it a no-go for major insurers and most global shipping alliances. The Panama Canal, still rationing ship passages as of early 2026, cutting daily transits from 40 to 32. Recovery is not guaranteed. This is not a single crisis. It is a risk convergence, sanctions, war, climate, and geography, hitting every major shortcut connecting Asia to Europe simultaneously. Shipping companies are paying hundreds of millions of dollars to route around Africa. Supply chains built on precision timing are breaking apart. Governments are scrambling for alternatives. When this happens, everything from fuel to food becomes more expensive. And while the world debates pipelines, land bridges, and canal expansions, one country has been quietly building something far more ambitious. Russia is betting that the answer to the world's shipping crisis is not a new canal. It is a frozen ocean, a route across the top of the world. Here is what Russia has actually built, and why the world is suddenly paying attention. The Northern Sea Route runs along Russia's Arctic coastline, stretching from the Bering Strait in the Pacific all the way to the Barents Sea near northern Europe. On a map, the difference is immediate and striking. A container ship traveling from Shanghai to Rotterdam through the Suez Canal covers roughly 20,000 kilometers. The Arctic route cuts that journey by nearly 40%. In ideal conditions, it saves as much as 2 weeks of travel time. For shipping companies moving thousands of containers at a time, 2 weeks is not a minor efficiency gain. It is the difference between profitable and unprofitable routes. Russia controls more than half of the Arctic coastline, giving it enormous strategic leverage over this corridor. And Moscow has been investing heavily for years. New ports built along the northern coast, navigation systems upgraded, search and rescue stations expanded across the most remote waters on Earth. But the most powerful investment is Russia's icebreaker fleet, the largest in the world. Some of these ships are nuclear-powered, capable of operating for years without refueling while smashing through ice several meters thick. The Yakutia joined the fleet in late 2024. Its sister ship, the Chukotka, is set to launch by the end of 2026. Russia's state nuclear agency Rosatom plans to expand this fleet with 10 additional icebreakers and 46 rescue vessels by 2035. Russia's strategy is explicit: turn the Arctic into both a major export corridor for its natural resources and a global transit route that it controls, profits from, and can deny to others. But Russia is not the only power with Arctic ambitions. In late 2025, China unveiled designs for its own nuclear-powered icebreaker, signaling that Beijing intends to build its own path through the ice, rather than simply rent Russia's. The Arctic is becoming a two-power game, and the West is watching from the outside. For centuries, explorers searched for a northern passage across the top of the world. Most of them failed. The Arctic Ocean remained locked beneath sea ice, so thick and so vast that even the most determined expeditions were crushed, trapped, or turned back. The Northwest Passage, the route through Canada's Arctic islands, became one of the most deadly pursuits in maritime history. Russia's Northern Sea Route was marginally more navigable, but still required specialized icebreakers and enormous risk even during the short summer window. The ice was simply too powerful. What changed was not technology alone. The Arctic is warming nearly 4 times faster than the global average, a fact that is disastrous for the planet but for shippers opens a new frontier. Sea ice coverage has declined dramatically since the 1980s. Each year, larger portions of the Arctic Ocean remain ice-free for longer periods during summer. The route that was once permanently frozen is now navigable between July and October, and that window is expanding. In 2025, about 37 million tons of cargo moved along the Northern Sea Route. But here is the number that actually matters. Of that 37 million tons, the vast majority is Russian oil, gas, and minerals being exported from Arctic ports. The real test is transit trade, goods traveling between Asia and Europe using the Arctic instead of the Suez. In 2025, that figure was approximately 400,000 tons, just 15 container ship transits for the entire year, more than double the previous year. Still a fraction of what the Suez handles daily, but growing. In late 2025, a vessel called the Istanbul Bridge completed a journey from China to the United Kingdom in approximately 20 days using the Northern Sea route. No Suez, no Red Sea, no Hormuz. 20 days, through waters that would have been impassable a generation ago. Chinese shipping companies have been the most aggressive in testing these waters. Beijing officially calls its Arctic ambitions the Polar Silk Road, a northern extension of Belt and Road that bypasses every choke point the West monitors and controls. And then, in early 2026, the world's largest container shipping company made its position clear. MSC CEO Søren Toft stated explicitly the company does not and will not use the Northern Sea route, citing safety, environmental risks, and the absence of supporting logistics infrastructure. MSC's refusal reflects most major Western carriers, driven by ESG commitments and insurance restrictions that make Arctic voyages commercially impossible for publicly listed companies. China's position is the opposite. Beijing prioritizes strategic redundancy over short-term profit. For Chinese carriers, the Polar Silk Road is national strategy, not commercial calculation. That gap between Western caution and Chinese ambition is where the real Arctic battle is being fought. The Arctic is no longer just a remote wilderness. For Russia, the Northern Sea route is an economic lifeline and a geopolitical weapon, a route it controls, profits from, and can restrict to rivals. For China, it is strategic insurance. And with its own nuclear icebreaker now in development, Beijing is building the capacity to eventually challenge Russian dominance of the route entirely. For the United States and NATO, the Arctic has become a military frontier requiring urgent attention. The U.S. allowed its icebreaker fleet to fall to just 2 operational vessels, while Russia built dozens. That imbalance is now being addressed, but slowly. The race for the Arctic is not just about shipping lanes. It is about who controls the next great corridor of global power. The Northern Sea route will not end the Suez Canal's dominance this decade. 15 container transits in 2025 against the Suez's thousands. A seasonal window of 4 months against year-round operation. An Arctic passage surrounded by ice, isolation, and geopolitical risk against a fully developed global logistics ecosystem. MSC's refusal is a reminder of how far the Arctic has to go. But the Istanbul Bridge voyage is a reminder of something else. The ice is retreating. China is building nuclear icebreakers. Russia is expanding its fleet. And the pressure to find alternatives to vulnerable Middle Eastern choke points has never been greater. The world spent 150 years building its trade system around a handful of narrow corridors, and all of them are fragile at the same time. The Northern Sea route does not solve that problem today, but Russia and China are betting it solves it tomorrow. And if they are right, the country that controls the frozen passage at the top of the world will hold more leverage over global trade than any canal authority in history. The ice is melting. The race has already begun. We cover the infrastructure the world depends on, and the stories behind the routes it has not built yet, every week on the channel.